So tonight's film was for 52 Films by Women, and it was Victoria Mahoney's Yelling to the Sky. I've had this on my Netflix queue since I was going to do A Year with Women, and it was one of the ones that I didn't manage to cram into last year. So I'm glad I finally got to it. It's written and directed by and produced by Victoria Mahoney, and it stars Zoë Kravitz as a girl growing up, I believe, in Queens, whose family is a mess. Her father, played by Jason Clarke, is an alcoholic who occasionally beats his wife and sometimes smacks his children. Her sister is played by Antonique Smith, and she's pregnant and trying to hide it from her family. She runs away, she comes back, she's got a lot of problems. And her mother, played by Yolanda Ross, is sort of a couple of pancakes, a couple of sandwiches short of a picnic basket, probably because of the abuse from the husband. That's the family. Now, she's also being plagued by the neighborhood and or school bully, played by Gabourey Sidibe. But things shift as she starts dealing drugs for the local drug dealer, who also helps pay for funerals and gives food to people who are starving, played by Tariq Trotter, also known as Black Thought from The Roots. I believe it's The Roots, yes, from The Roots. And she befriends two girls who used to be friends with Gabby Sidibe, played by Sharika Epps, who's from Half Nelson, and Soniqua Martin. The two of them dress in matching clothing, and it is kind of amazing. And then she also has an interesting relationship with the school principal, played by Tim Blake Nelson. That's the cast. It's a really large cast, but the bulk of the film really follows Kravitz, as she first is just a good girl trying to survive this crazy family that she has, and then eventually she goes through a rebellious phase of beating people up and wearing way too much makeup and selling drugs in order to feed herself because her parents aren't feeding them, and just down that spiraling rabbit hole of not the right path, as they say. But it ends on possibly a happy note with things maybe looking for the bright side. I don't know if the ending particularly felt real, but the other moments throughout the film really did, and the relationships especially between the sisters and the daughter and the father, felt very real and felt very just very accurate. And then everyone gives amazing performances. Like, everyone in this film is just on fire. And it's beautifully shot. I think let's see who the cinematographer was. It's shot by shot by Reed Morano. That's why it's beautifully shot. She is a great cinematographer. Everything is framed beautifully, lit beautifully. It's a gorgeous film. Really great set design as well. For some reason, it has really bad reviews, and I'm not 100% sure. It's not a film that's very high on plot. It's not like X happens, Y happens, Z happens. It's more like you're just following a few months in the life of this girl as she goes through shit. And I don't think it necessarily needs a plot, because it's more about the themes and what she's going through as a high school senior. And no, it doesn't even follow the school year, but that's mostly because it's not about her going to school. It's about her life beyond that. So, I don't know. People are dumb. It's my answer to that. I thought this was a great film. I'd like to see more from Victoria Mahoney. I think she's working on, let's see here. I'm pretty sure she was working on something coming up, but maybe I'm wrong. Oh, she was in Legally Blonde. Interesting. No, she's got some television that she worked on. She has a great, she wrote a great essay about finding how difficult it is for her to find work post this film, um, which sort of, there's a lot of that in this industry where, women are just not hired, especially women of color. I was thinking about how much I love Gabby Sidibe and how great her screen presence is, and how she and Jennifer Lawrence were both nominated for Best Actress in the same year, both in films nominated for Best Picture. They're both relative unknowns at the time, although J Law had more work as a teen. Um, and how different their careers are 6 years later, and how much I would rather be watching a million Gabby Sidibe films than Jennifer Lawrence movies. I just am not really a fan of Jennifer Lawrence, and that's kind of a bummer. But I'm glad that Gabby gets lots and lots of work. It's just not, I feel like, not the most prestigious work, which is a bummer. So anyways, this film is from 2011, and you can watch it on Netflix, and I think it's quite good. So you should check it out.